I was diagnosed as bipolar 13 years ago. For some people, that's a crutch. For some people, that's a title, that's a label, that's an identity. And it's something, it puts you in a new cycle that repeats over and over and over again. I am broken. I am broken by birth. I am corrupted. I need help. Well, the good news is that's true for everyone. We're all broken by birth. We're all corrupted by some means or another, and we all need help. Here we learn how medication, therapy, these aren't the things that fix and resolve the identity issue that we have inside of us. But we're going to learn how stepping into meditation, opening ourselves up, and presenting ourselves, that's the way we become healed. Hi, my name is Daniel Estevez. I've been on this journey for a while, and I'm glad you're here with me. We're walking the path. And here we learn how to take those dark parts of us, and we learn how to interject and infuse them with the light parts of us so that we can step into wholeness as one. If you like this, like it. If you want to comment, you want to have a conversation, comment. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Subscribe as well. And I have a link down in the description below if you want a free one-on-one call with me, or I can help you kind of open yourself up to where you are being blocked, where you are walking in darkness and not knowing it. I'd love to share that space with you. 13 years ago, I was given the title bipolar. 13 years ago. I've been on and off medication throughout that whole process. For a while, that title was my identity. The way in which described I was broken. But as I began to grow, as I began to experience life, I realized that I don't want the thing that can describe me to be the thing that I am. I want to be different. I don't want to hold on to the idea, the name, bipolar, as a thing that can now just start describing all these parts of me. And when someone looks at me and they're like, "What's up, dude?" I can just point to the thing and say bipolar. It's just the way I am. I can't help it. I take medication. I'm in therapy. I'm doing my part. Hey, for me, those things were great. But there came a time when I had to realize that medication is never going to save me. Therapy is never going to save me. And if I keep going to the thing as if the thing will be the thing that cures me, I will always be in the perpetual loop of I am broken. Save me. I am broken. Thing outside of me be the thing that saves me. Doesn't work that way. I had to realize for myself that the medication that I was on was only a crutch. It wasn't a savior. It wasn't a hero that come in and be like, I will keep you. You'll be forever safe in my, because the medication was intangible. The medication wasn't a person. I'm a person. I'm me. And I refuse to believe that because I'm born, I'm fucked. I refuse to believe that because I choose to believe that as I am is good. And my relationship with the medication was that of a relationship. Thank you for being here. I'm going to act as if I don't need you. But you can still be part of my journey. You can still do the subtle background work, but I'm going to put myself in a position, mentally, spiritually, embodied, that the thing that heals me is me. How I show up is how I become whole. And yes, thank you for being part of this. But you're not part of this in the way that I need you in my DNA. I need you in my makeup. Because if you're gone, I will combust. I will explode. No. I'm going to act in the way that I want to be. And I want to be whole. And so I'm going to set my mind on wholeness. I'm going to set my heart on wholeness. And I'm going to keep being faithful to what the doctors prescribed for me. But my heart and my intention is I don't need a label to describe I don't need a label to describe how I'm broken. Everyone's broken. I know I'm broken. I would rather have the relationship with the broken part of me where I can just be and work with that. Because I can work with brokenness in me. I can't work with some intrinsic thing that will forever be out of balance, that I always need to be like enslaved to this idea of a title and all the things that come with it. That'll never serve me, because I'll always be Daniel with an asterisk in my mind. And I'm giving over my power to this label, to this title. That's not for me. Does that make sense? And we're not shitting on therapy either. But one of the traps that sometimes we fall into in therapy is we treat it like medication. We treat it like a label. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to experience therapy. I'm going to be in the presence of the therapist, and that's where I can finally start doing my work. Hear that right there? That's where I can finally start doing my work. When you treat the thing like medication, when you treat the thing like the label, I'm going to the therapist. I'm gonna take my medication from the medication. I'm gonna take the therapist time. I'm gonna sit in that presence. I'm gonna go there. Those are all great. Yes, we need that. Those are crutches. We need crutches until we're ready to walk. You know anyone that's been in therapy for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? You know there's people that aren't in therapy and they're not falling apart? Somewhere in between, there's a correct balance. And the balance starts in our heart. When I was going to my therapist, for a long time, I needed it like I needed oxygen. I needed it like I needed a blood transfusion. And then at some point, I had the same realization of, oh, I'm going to this thing because it's shining a light on me. Okay, can I do that in myself? Can I ask myself similar questions? Why do I feel that way? How does that make me feel? Why do I keep repeating that pattern? The answer is yes. And I'm not trying to shut down the work of therapists. Therapists do a great job. They're that sounding board for us to be able to hear and see the perspectives of us that we're missing, okay? But again, if you treat the therapist like it's the thing you need, you'll always be caught in that perpetual cycle of the difference between getting a fish, eating the fish, and learning how to fish. And I think both of those aspects, both the label, the medication, both the therapist and the healing that comes through that, our heart alignment needs to be, let me align myself where I can receive whatever I need to receive and also learn however I need to learn how to become more whole on my own. Okay? And so today we're going to bring in the idea of meditation. Now, meditation might be something you've practiced before, or it might be something brand new. It might seem like that weird thing where someone sits on a mountain like covered in snow and like they can't feel the snow. You're going to be sitting in snow by the end of this video. No. Meditation is, it's all it is you're showing up for you. Try not to have any attachment to what meditation is or isn't. What it is for me is I like to just spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and guess what? 10 minutes is literally the time it takes for you to take a dump and be on your phone. If you take the phone out of that situation and you dump for 2 minutes, you have 8 minutes to go meditate. Time isn't hard. Time is our heart investment in ourselves. Trademark. So meditation really is just showing up for you. So how that looks like for me, I like to wake up. I like to go sit on a cool rock, 10 to 20 minutes. And what I do when I sit there is I just am. I like to sit up straight, straighter than I was just then. There we go. I like to sit up straight, putting my mind, my brain, my neck, my spine, all in alignment with my sit bone. Just all in this straight alignment, kind of like a physical representation of what you're trying to do with your body, mind, spirit, and soul. Hear that? Feel that? Okay, it's important. And when I'm in that position, when I'm in this position, what happens next is I just sit and I let it be. And so a lot of times our thoughts are like, here they come. What's gonna happen tomorrow? What happens after that? What are we gonna do? You know, our thoughts are flaming arrows constantly firing back and forth between two invisible sides that they don't even know they're on the same team. Hey, good. Meditation is this. The biggest goal of meditation is this: show up. Show up. Show up for yourself. That's all you have to do is show up, okay? If you can hollow out 5 minutes, set a timer on your phone. 5 minutes. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever feels comfortable for you. If you need to just break into it just to see what it's like, set the timer for 5 minutes. Show up, okay? Because the thing that changes anyone's heart and changes anyone's mind is when you show up. But you don't just do it once. If you want someone to know that you care about them, if you want someone to know that they matter to you, if you're trying to get a girl, what do you do? If you're trying to get a guy, if you're trying to, someone like, I want to be friends with them, you just end up showing up. Hey, so nice to see you. Is it cool if I sit down with you for 5 minutes? I just want to, we don't have to talk, we don't have to do anything, we can just hang out. That's what we're doing. 5 minutes. We're showing ourselves, our heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit, that we can show up. That's step one, show up. Choose to show up. And then here's step two. Consistency is a scary word, okay? But let me give you the grace that attaches to consistency. You can be consistent, and it doesn't have to be fucking perfect. Okay? Give yourself the grace to be like, I'm gonna do this for 5 minutes a day, starting today. And if I don't feel like it tomorrow, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyways. And it's okay if I don't do great. Who can, first of all, meditation, there's no judgment in meditation. Literally, if you're sitting still, you've done half of the work. Even if your brain is firing thoughts back and forth, guess what happens for me? When I'm in meditation, that's finally the spot where, like, I don't know if you ever swam in like an old pond, and once you jump in the water, maybe it's like kind of clearish or something, but as soon as you get in there, all that slurpy derp from the bottom starts to go back up through the water. That's what happens for me when I sit there and I meditate. Because I finally give myself time and space for me that I'm not mentally attached to. I'm just like, hey, I'm here to show up. And guess what happens? Stuff starts bubbling up, and they come up as thoughts. So many times people are like, meditation, you can't have thoughts. For me, and you know, I let the thoughts show up. I try to, my heart is to be like, hey, I can think however I want to think. Those thoughts can come. I'm just going to try not to attach. I'm trying not to judge. I'm just going to let them be. And sometimes I'll grab onto them and I'll think about them for a little bit, and then I'll just kind of be like, okay, I'm going to let you go again. And for me, when I put myself in that position to meditate, that's when stuff starts bubbling up. Because I'm finally giving myself the stillness to feel, okay? So show up, step one. Step two, be imperfect, but do it on a regular basis. And step three, stillness is what heals us, okay? Because when you can show up for yourself, and you can make it a point to yourself that, hey, you're worth it. I'm going to do this more than once ever. I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to do this 3 times a week. Whatever the real thing is that you can convey to yourself that you fucking matter. And if you come and you bring stillness to yourself, that's what's going to give you space to heal. You hear that? We love the doctors, we love the medication that helps us and gives us the structure and the crutch for us to be able to learn how to walk again. And we love our therapists who have taught us so many beautiful, valuable lessons about how to see ourselves from a new perspective, from a new way. And what meditation does in retrospect to both of those things is we're learning how to integrate back into our body. We're learning how to give our soul, body, and mind space again. Not space that comes from a mental decision. I am giving you this allotted space, brain, for you to think, feel, and you have 5 minutes to think and feel. That's not how we fucking heal. And if you try to have a relationship with someone like that, that's not how we have relationships with other people, and that's not how we have a relationship with ourselves. What we do is we put ourselves in the position of stillness. We show up for ourselves, and we make a point to do it with intention, on purpose, in a regular way that honors our heart. And you still might be asking, like, okay, meditation, but I just have these racing thoughts. If they're gonna race, let them race. It's like 5-year-old kids running around outside. Eventually they're gonna get tired. And what you can do with your heart and the position you can take in your spirit is hands open. You can run around and think and tire yourself as much as you want. I'm just gonna slowly unattach from my thoughts. They're up there and they're going, spinning, doing their thing. Great. Hey, permission granted. Think away. Be however you need to be. What I'm doing, my job as the spirit who guides this whole body, because your mind is part of you, but your mind also does its own thing too. Same with your body. It's all everywhere. And working on alignment is saying, hey, I give you permission to be how you need to be for the next 5 minutes. And if you need to freaking start thinking about cutting carrots and how it's so important and we got to make this stew, let your brain cut carrots and you as your spirit just rest. If it needs to do the thing, let it do the thing. But find that rest, however it looks like. I mean, there's been times when I've thought crazy things that are like, why am I even thinking about these things? But then I just remind myself, hey, I wouldn't be thinking these thoughts the way that I'm thinking them unless I gave myself the room to think and feel them. Does that make sense? Maybe in our work of being unattached to how we're thinking and feeling and just letting everything play out, maybe that's the space that you need. Maybe, and I can't tell you this for sure, but maybe that activity of the brain that you finally give space to for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, what if you giving that space to your brain lets your brain go through 1,000 loops like it would normally do in a day, but it gets to do it in 5 minutes? Because rather than finding every little moment of every part of your day where your brain's going to start being engaged, like, here we go, back in the car, good driving, maybe instead of doing that, maybe your brain now has the opportunity to say, I have free reign. There's so much room for activities. I can play. I can do whatever. That's the work of unattachment. We're not attached. We give grace. And how we begin to heal is we give ourselves space. We show up for ourselves with intention, on purpose. Make it a pattern. Make it a habit of giving yourself space, showing up for yourself, and sitting in stillness. Because we love those things that help us, but here's a secret. The only one who can help you is the person who will always be you. Really. Because if you're not open to this help, you're not going to get it. And that's why we need it as the crutch. Well, that's why we need it as those kind of stepping stones to be able to start wading into deeper and deeper water spiritually. Because the truth is, if everyone else in your life kind of had a plane ticket to go live in Bali, I don't know where that is, for a year, you wouldn't just be alone. You would have to rely on yourself, because the truth is you'll always be able to rely on you because you're the consistent thing in your entire life. So if you can make the choice to invest in you, then what happens to you? The more you invest in you, the more you invest in yourself, the more you're able to be. And in that being, that's where we find, oh, I can be aligned in this way. I never knew that I wasn't just a title given to me 13 years ago. I never knew that I didn't always have to be connected to a therapist to keep my head above water. And those weren't mentalities that I came into those situations with, but they're the mentality that I have now. because I sat with myself. I heard my heart, and my heart said, please don't be the one that's in therapy for 20 years. Please don't be the title that you hide behind. Be you, Daniel. And that's my encouragement to you. I want you to be you. And maybe meditation sounds like a silly tool to try it out, but I promise you this. If you give yourself space, you will fill it. Okay? Beautiful. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you want to have more of a conversation, comment. If you if you want to have a one-on-one chat with me for free, down in the link below the video, you can click it. And I'm here. I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to hear where you're processing, what titles you've earned from doctors. Where have you been in therapy? How has that helped you? And maybe I can help you kind of realize where's these next steps that you need to go. Not away from medication or therapy, but how can you reintegrate back into yourself? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you on your path. Thank you so much for showing up. God bless.